Did you go to private school? A lot of people think because they went to private school they got a better education. But this isn't the case. In our country, the public education system is an impressive program. Public schools offer benefits that private schools don't. Public schools have intrinsic values. This is evident in three ways. First, public schools yield better educational outcomes. Second, public schools are more diverse. And third, public schools require no tuition to attend. So public schools have intrinsic value. I'd first like to talk about their superior educational outcomes. In 2008, by the American Journal of Education, Sarah Levinsky and a small team of researchers submitted an article entitled Achievement Differences in School Type, the Role of School Climate, Teacher Certification, and Instruction, where they found that test score outcomes favor public schools. Now I'm going to shoot down the myth at the core of private school patronage. They are not superior in education. They cherry-pick their students. Without considering this, we do not see how the deck is stacked in their favor when it comes to National School Report Card time. Comparing students from similar demographic backgrounds is far more informative for us parents wondering if it's really worth paying all that money for private schools. The truth is, public school students score equal if not higher on math tests when compared to the same apples from private schools. Demographics looked at in that study, among others, was home resources. Students from affluent families tend to do better, and private schools are naturally loaded with these kids. Another important demographic was class size, which also favors private schools, but it doesn't explain why public schools are still outperforming private schools. The study also looks at the professionals tasked with teaching our students. Public schools are required to abide rigorous standards when hiring a teaching staff. The study looked at over 270,000 students from over 10,000 schools. In the public realm, they found that 9 out of 10 fourth grade teachers were certified. 75% of their 8th grade teachers were certified. The private realm fared worse. At best, 66% of their teachers were certified, and at some conservative non-Christian schools, less than 45% of their teachers were certified. Professional development and up-to-date methods of teaching are also far more prevalent in public schools. This is because they have to. Their funding depends on it. Private schools tout their autonomy, selling their schools based on traditional methods and back to the basics. The truth is, private schools are far more likely to fall behind the times because of their autonomy. So public schools have intrinsic value. My second point is that they are more diverse. Robert Niles is an acclaimed critic of journalism and other medias, but also ideologies behind some common perceptions in our society. He's a renowned critic, and he challenges the notion that private schools are better than public schools in his 2011 article, Why I Send My Children to Public School. Robert is a successful journalist, and he can surely afford to send his kids to private school. His reason for the contrary is simple. Among other reasons, the social microcosm available at public schools is one of his reasons. They are more diverse. They absorb the vast buffet of cultural differences available in his community, not just the smart and wealthy. Diversity in our society is a good thing. A diverse atmosphere, welcoming all genders, races, religions, and social classes, is rich in experience and inspiration you won't find in private schools. Students from private schools are being brought to these broader associations while they're in school, but they will face them ignorantly and unprepared as adults. So why are private schools lacking in diversity? According to lawyers.com, which is a website dedicated to broad legal explanation and cites legal precedent, private schools can discriminate based on anything they want to except for race, so long as they're not funded by federal dollars. This means that private schools can discriminate based on gender, religion, disability, sexual orientation, and given the fact that private schools cost money to attend, they essentially discriminate based on socioeconomic status. For example, in some of our more progressive states, students have been expelled or denied admittance due to circumstances related to sexual orientation, even if it's within the family. Some religious schools charge higher rates for those not of their faith. The very lengths that private schools go through to streamline their student experiences directly contributes to the lack of diversity, and they tout this as if it's desirable. Diversity in a society as ours is valuable for raising our children. Public schools have this. But they also cost less money. My third point is public schools require no tuition to attend. The staff at USC Rossier Online, the University of Southern California's online school, put together an infographic based on 2009 data that looks at the budgets of governments from around the world and how much they spend on education. The United States spends far more than any other country on education. Close to $7,800 per year per student is spent in our budget. This is more than 33% than the next comparable country's budget. And it's well needed. If the federal government didn't contribute money to our educations, how many children would be left behind? Furthermore, this would be a modest tuition at most private schools. And speaking of private schools, capenet.org is a website for the Council for American Private Education. And they present information for parents investigating private schools. According to them, the average tuition for private schools is $8,500 per year. This is on the modest side as it's weighed down by the lower cost of elementary schools. Parents are more likely to spend around $10,000 per year, and that again is on the modest side. At some non-sectarian schools, tuition is closer to $15,000 and $20,000 per year, and the numbers go drastically up when you get to secondary educations. So the cost comparison is definitely in favor of public schools because they cost no tuition to attend. The choice is clear. It makes more sense to utilize our public education system. Common sense. So I'd like to leave you with a token of thought. It's a story I found in Sarah and Chris Lubinsky's book, The Public School Advantage: Why Public Schools Are Outperforming Private Schools. And roughly in their words, an economist was walking across the campus with the student. When the student sees a $5 bill on the ground, the economist is dismissive. It couldn't be a $5 bill. So if it were, someone would have picked it up. My friends, let us not be blinded by our intellectual assumptions to the values available in our public schools. Ignoring the values of superior education and teachers, diversity, and cost would be foolish. Public schools have intrinsic value.